The technology denial regime thrust on us in the post-1972 only enhanced our determination to expeditiously pursue the indigenization and innovation efforts, as well as the build self-reliance in the entire range of activities in the domain of nuclear energy, namely reactor technologies, fuels, fuel cycle facilities, and all other allied requirements. Commendable success has been demonstrated by work in the fields of reprocessing and enrichment, making use of entirely indigenous efforts and resources. Civil Nuclear Cooperation Agreement concluded in October 2008 was aimed not only at the cooperation from the other countries, but also to get rid of the nuclear isolation which was thrust upon us unduly and unjustifiably in 1974 onwards. It took almost 34 years, strenuous efforts by Indian political establishment and scientific community to come out of this some sort of nuclear apartheid and isolation. Even most distinguished organizations like DRDO, many of its research laboratories were considered as banned items, banned organizations to have any sort of nuclear cooperation from the world. And as USA thrust on this imposition on us and main instrument for isolation, our efforts, thanks to the efforts of Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh, in 2008 we were able to overcome these difficulties, and civil nuclear cooperation agreement signed first with America, followed by USA and France, has opened new vistas for us. We are today ready, and we are also involved in several multilateral mega science initiatives, such as the current LHC discovery of Higgs boson particle and the International Thermonuclear Experiment Reactor. Indigenization efforts must continue even as we embrace nuclear power collaboration with our international partners in the wake of the Civil Nuclear Initiative. I call on the atomic energy community to gear up the absorptions of the LWR technology, maximizing synergies across the indigenous and foreign technologies so that the nuclear power can be delivered affordably and safely to the Indian masses. We can justifiably be proud of our achievements in the domain of the nuclear energy across the entire nuclear fuel cycle. I am happy to note that a few new facilities in the frontier science and technology areas have been remotely inaugurated today. We cannot, however, rest on our laurels. Several other similar new facilities and systems in many more areas of application of technology required to be established and operated in the years to come. Non-power applications of the atomic energy in the areas of healthcare, food, agriculture, water resource management, and environmental protection is much less known to the society at large. Hundreds of medical centers in the country are using radioisotope products, radiopharmaceuticals, and radiation resources supplied by DAE for diagnosis and therapy of the patients. Works development initiatives and facilitated delivery of an indigenous teletherapy machine and a simulated support cost-effective cancer care to patients are distinguished achievements in these areas. The Tata Memorial Center, an autonomous center functioning under DAE administration, has created a name for itself in these areas. In the application of the nuclear technology in food and agriculture, I am happy to learn that you have introduced 41 mutant crops till date, mostly oilseeds and pulses, with enhanced or early yield and disease resistance. The most popular crop mutant, groundnut variety called TAG 24, has been chosen to be dedicated to the nation today. The involvement of the several agricultural universities in the joint development and propagation of mutant crop and engagement of the private sector in setting up radiation processing plants for preservation of the food products for enhancing shelf-life and marketability of many agro and the food products, including the export purposes, that is spices, mangoes, are important strategies adopted by the DAE, and I congratulate them for these initiatives. The indigenous development of membrane technology by BARC in connection with its nuclear desalination programs has been effectively expanded to develop and supply water purification system to address the specific contaminant issues in different parts of the country. For example, BARC developed systems are in use for purification of water in brackish region, removal of heavy metals like iron and uranium, and removal of arsenic and fluoride. Isotropic techniques have led to the much better understanding in the recharge patterns, including of aquifers, and helped sustainable exploitation of the groundwater and surface water resources. The recent launch of the nuclear power INS Arihant bears further testimony to Indian nuclear defense capabilities. It has placed India among the very few advanced countries possessing nuclear submarine technologies. This technology is being upscaled to launch Indian pressurized water reactor in the near future. Meeting the target of 63 gigawatt of electricity from the nuclear sources, both indigenous and imported, by the year 2032 would require not only considerable technological and financial resources, it would also require a considerable effort to boost our human resources. This is where the BARC school can play a leading key role. We need highly qualified, competent nuclear scientists and engineers, professionals in the areas of the nuclear safety and security, as well as new generation of the project managers. Let us not underestimate the challenges. I wish to congratulate the officers graduating this year. However, this is also a moment for the introspection. Pandit Nehru's vision was not only to employ science and technology to build a strong and prosperous India, but also to use science and technology as an agent of change. It is his thinking that should guide all of us throughout our lives. There are new challenges to be faced. It is imperative that you, the young graduates, undertake public outreach measures rigorously and systematically to allay the perceived fears and concerns about nuclear power. You have been equipped with the knowledge and skill the nation expects you to contribute to the societal well-being at large. I am confident that each one of you will carry forward the department's standards of excellence and the visions of Dr. Homi Jahangir Bhabha and Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. I wish you Godspeed, all success. Thank you.